Hey guys, I have a child walking the edge of this table right now, and I don't want him to be on camera, so I'm gonna try and get through this as quick as possible. I had a totally other video planned for you guys today, and if you have seen the news, I don't know how far this is being broadcast, there's a bombing that happened in Nashville on Christmas Day, and a lot of you probably know that's where I live, so I wanted to obviously talk about what happened and that it's scarily close to home in many different aspects, one of which being that apparently my husband's family knew the bomber. So I'll get into that at the end of the video. Before I get into it, Joseph Almont commented that maybe we should do some sort of community, like a Discord or something, where people can put up suggestions and we can sort of all talk true crime. I don't know how many avid followers I have yet, if it's worth doing, but you guys let me know if you would be interested in me starting a Discord. I could do that, but I just don't want to start something if there's not going to be that many people on it yet. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. So on December 25th of 2020, a suicide bomber detonated a recreational vehicle bomb in downtown Nashville, injuring 8 people and damaging dozens of buildings. It took place at 166 2nd Avenue North between Church Street and Commerce Street at 6:30 a.m., adjacent to an AT&T network hub, resulting in days-long communication service outages. I don't know how wide this communication service issue is, but there are a ton of people that I know, family members and friends, that have their phone service or their internet through AT&T, some both, and there's basically no way to get a hold of them right now. Like, they're fine, but they can't use their phones, they can't use their internet, can't use anything. So even the people that have gotten it back, it's spotty. They're getting text messages like hours later, so it's quite a disruption in the communication services. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots and loudspeakers on the RV, warning them to evacuate before the explosion, which was felt miles away, including 9 miles from there where my father-in-law lives. He says that he felt it. Now, the RV was a Motor Coach Chateau RV, which was parked outside the AT&T transmission building, and it was parked there at 1:22 a.m. 4 to 5 hours after being parked, residents in the vicinity were awakened by what seemed to be the sound of rapid gunfire in at least 3 different bursts. I saw one interview with a man on TV who lived on 2nd Avenue, and he said they were all about 15, maybe 20 minutes apart. A bunch of gunshots, and then like 15-minute break, and then a bunch of gunshots, and he like barricaded himself in his apartment, turned all the lights off, didn't say a word. You know, he was afraid that they were like coming door to door or something, didn't know what it was until the police came to evacuate. Make sure I didn't lose my spot. And all my sources, as usual, will be in the description box, so you guys can see exactly where I'm getting this from. I'm getting the timeline of events from Wikipedia, and I'm getting some more information from CNN. Let's see here. This was followed, the gunshots in at least 3 bursts were followed by a computerized female voice. You're getting too close to the camera, buddy. A computerized female voice broadcasting over a public address system. I'm putting this up in case he gets too close to the camera. All buildings in this area must be evacuated now. If you can hear this message, evacuate now. Now, this was released. Somebody had footage of this. It was from like a security camera, basically, in one of the buildings across the street from the RV. And you can hear it, and it's terrifying. It's just so creepy sounding. So if you're interested in finding that, it is online. And it was really, really, really loud. It was like saying, if you can hear this message, evacuate now. Like, you're within the area. It said something about the RV being an explosive or a bomb as well. I can't remember the exact wording. cool, messing with my lighting. Thank you for grabbing the light remote. And supposedly it was also playing snippets from the 1964 song Downtown by Petula Clark. Now, she tweeted that she had heard that her song was playing moments after the explosion when it was just eerily quiet. And she just said, like, she hated what happened for Nashville and how sad it was that her song was playing. So I don't know if it was playing from the RV or it just happened to be playing somewhere afterwards. As far as I know, there's not just music playing at 5:30 in the morning or 6:30 in the morning downtown Nashville. So I don't, because there's live music everywhere. So it makes sense that it would be coming out of the RV. Prior to the explosion, a 15-minute countdown was also broadcast. Responding to reports of shots being fired at around 5:30 a.m., about an hour before the explosion, 2 police officers arrived at the area. Though they did not hear any shots, they discovered the parked vehicle. Cool. See, my lighting's getting messed with because I'm letting him play with the light remote right now. I'm so sorry. They discovered the parked vehicle and heard the warning. They and 3 other responding officers subsequently evacuated homes in the area and called in reinforcements, including... Can I put the bright... Okay, I just won't worry about my lighting. That's fine. Including the hazardous devices unit, while a 6th officer stayed on the street to redirect pedestrians. You can see this officer. The Metro Nashville Police Department released a video of the explosion where you can see the RV actually explode. You can't see it explode because it's a shitty camera, like just a surveillance camera, and all you see is everything go white, and then you see the shit falling, basically. But you do see what I believe to be referencing that officer. There's also a video of another officer stopping a gentleman who was walking his dog on 2nd Avenue. And you can see this guy in the video that I saw of the RV audio. You can see this guy walking away after the explosion, like a minute after or so, maybe a couple minutes after. But right before the explosion, he's just out walking his dog, and an officer comes up and stops him, questions him, and then the explosion happens when both of them are standing pretty close to it. That's from yet another surveillance camera. I'm sorry, I keep saying, 2 of the officers investigated the RV at one point and observed a camera positioned above its rearview mirror. At 6:30 a.m., while the bomb squad was on its way to the area, the vehicle exploded. 8 people were treated at hospitals for injuries and later discharged. 3 of them sustained non-critical injuries, including 2 of the officers who had been evacuating residents. And from, again, news interviews of residents that live nearby, basically police went door to door, banging on doors, telling them to exit from the 1st Avenue and 3rd Avenue exits. Get away from 2nd Avenue, basically, is what they were told. The bomber died at the scene, while no other fatalities, thankfully, were reported. One video posted to social media appears to show debris from the explosion landing on a building about 2 blocks away from the initial location. The explosion went so far. I have a friend who lives up right off of the Green, which is at the top of 2nd Avenue where the courthouse is. And he lives pretty high up in this building, and his windows were blown out. So I would wager to say that was about 1.5 blocks or 2 blocks away from exactly where it exploded, and his windows were blown out up high in a building too. It was that strong of a blast. I could be wrong about his exact location, but I believe he's just right on like maybe a quarter turn away from the Green. Let's see, at least 3 vehicles were burned after the bombing, and you'll see that a lot in, after pictures and videos, and at least 41 businesses were damaged. One building located across from the site of the bombing collapsed. Human remains were found near the site of the explosion. The remains were later matched to Anthony Quinn Warner through a DNA match using gloves and a hat retrieved from a car that he owned. A 17-digit vehicle identification number, VIN number, reconstructed from the remains of the RV was also linked to Warner. Investigators determined the act was a suicide bombing, and the mayor called it an attack on infrastructure. Hours of surveillance camera footage indicated that nobody other than Warner was involved. Warner's friends and family have completely cooperated with the investigators. Now, Anthony Quinn Warner was a 63-year-old from Antioch, Tennessee, which is where I'm from. It's a subset of Nashville, South Nashville. Someone called the police with a tip from Google Satellite View to a home on Bakertown Road with the same RV. And this was Anthony Quinn Warner's RV. A woman who said that she was Warner's girlfriend told police last year that he was making bombs in this RV. And this is information that the police department has released to the press. Like, they're not covering this up. They were basically told this. She, on August 21st of 2019, had her attorney, her name was Pamela Perry, her attorney called police and said that she was Warner's girlfriend. Her attorney, Raymond Throckmorton, said that she had made suicidal threats to him via telephone, which that's confusing information. I'm not sure what's going on back and forth there. But when police arrived at Perry's home, they found 2 unloaded pistols near her, and she said they belonged to Warner. She told officers she did not want them in the house any longer and that Warner was building bombs in the RV trailer at his residence. The police also spoke to the lawyer Throckmorton again, who used to represent, he represented Warner, and was also at Perry's home at the time the police showed up. He told authorities that Warner frequently talked about the military and bomb making. Thank you. He stated that he believes the suspect knows what he is doing and capable of making a bomb. And this is back in 2019. Warner was arrested on a charge of marijuana possession for resale in 1978 when he was 21 years old, but otherwise had no criminal history. Neighbors described him as a hermit. There was an interview from a couple who lived right next door to him since, I think they said 2001, and had barely ever seen the guy. So where he lives on Bakertown Road is exactly 2 streets from where my father-in-law lives and where I used to live. The haunted house that I've talked about on my channel is literally, you go from this guy's house, take a left and then a right, and you're at that house. Oddly enough, his brother knew my father-in-law for decades, from what I understand. My husband knew the brother. This is not the bomber's brother. My husband knew him, went over to his house many a times growing up. I feel like I met the brother once, but I can't remember, because I do remember meeting someone who was sick somewhere closer to a decade ago, and this brother passed away sometime within the last 5 to 10 years. So I don't know much about the bomber. I don't know much about how well anyone knew him, because all I'm hearing from my husband is basically that we knew his brother, that his dad and the brother went fishing together and stuff like that. So him being described as a hermit by his neighbors seems to make perfect sense in his own life as well, in his own personal life. So that's really all I know, but it's just weird that he lived so close to us and that somehow we knew him, and my husband thinks he met him a couple times when he was younger, or maybe once at least. But yeah, like, they didn't really hang around this guy. I don't think he was super close to his family or anything, as far as I'm hearing. Just a very a loner is what he's being described as, and that sounds kind of accurate from what I'm hearing from my husband. So, you know, I've thought of this for a while, and this just adds to the many things that I should film around Antioch. But I have requested police reports for certain things that have happened in Antioch, but some of them are still open, so I can't get the reports for them. But I have seriously considered driving around Antioch and just filming different locations where stuff has gone down, especially recently. We have the Waffle House shooting that happened in Antioch, just a couple miles up the street from where I went to high school and where I lived, because I lived very close to my high school. And then about 1 mile down the other side of that road from the high school, and from within earshot of where I used to live, because my friend who lived 4 houses down from me heard this happening. There was what was that church called? Burnett Chapel of Christ church shooting. I think that was in 2016 or something. And my friend was outside and he heard it happening. Now there's this. I think I had maybe one other thing that I could think. Oh, there was the guy who went in the movie theater with a hatchet in Hickory Hollow and tried killing people, and I think he just got himself killed. I can't remember exactly what went down with that, but I mean, there's like so much stuff that's happened around Antioch. Across the street from that is the O'Charlie's, where someone was, I think he was stabbed and killed when I was in high school, and there's like a plaque out front for him, like in memory, that someone died right there in the O'Charlie's parking lot. It's quite the town that I'm from, you guys, and it's not really any wonder why I have a true crime obsession or knowledge. Oh my God, my son is trying to climb in my lap right now. So yeah, that is where I'm going to end this video today, because someone needs my attention. I don't want him to be on camera. If you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up button below. If you have any suggestions for videos, true crime or otherwise, please leave those in the comments below. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button, as I upload new videos every Wednesday. And other than that, I will see you guys next week. Bye.